It is completely clear to Toronto Raptors fans who have witnessed the highs and the very low lows of the start of this season that there's one thing that the Raptors got completely right that looks almost perfect for this group, and that is the treasure trove of wings we have at the top end of our rotation. I'm adding CMB to this. Now, do not get me wrong. Bobby Webster has a lot of work to do in order to complete this roster, in order to make it make sense, in order to be true competitors out there in the Eastern Conference. Do not get me wrong. We face up against another team with competent bigs and things like that. We are cooked. Do not think I'm changing my tone on that front. But one thing that the Toronto Raptors got absolutely right. I can't be denied here now at this point. And people had questions about it over the course of entering this season. That tandem on the wings of RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scottie Barnes, and I'm adding Colin Murray-Boyles to this mix. Again, he's a 3-4 that's playing the 5 right now. But these 4 guys specifically, and there's still lots of great players on this team, do not get me wrong, but these 4 guys, where there was questions about three-point shooting, questions about fit, questions about, efficiency, they are playing phenomenal together. On the offensive end, heck, even on the defensive end. CMB is stepping up right now in the absence of Jakob Poeltl and guarding centers. And it's not going to work when he's playing the Alfred Şengün's of the world, the Victor Wembanyama's. He's too small. It's not going to work then. But even against someone that's close to his height, when he's matched up against Jaren Jackson Jr., Triple J, who, is a very, very good big man, played a very great game against the Toronto Raptors tonight, he is fighting. He is holding his own. The Raptors' defense does not look like paper mache the way it has in recent seasons. Defense and Scottie Barnes. 2 of these guys just strike fair on the defensive end to ever team they're facing. Brandon Ingram, a guy that was branded as a pylon. This guy's put on muscle this season. I don't know if you're watching the games, folks, because we're watching them here on the live streams. This guy's a sneaky good rim protector. Again, he's not going to be, prime Serge Ibaka or anything like that. But he has long arms. He's underneath the rim. He has added strength. And he is fighting. He is fighting like heck out there on that end of the floor. On top of it, again, defense is like RJ's trying out there. He gets blown by every now and then on the defensive end. But there was questions about how he'd fit into this group. I don't think these stats updated for his performance tonight. But RJ has been, close to 20 points per game. I think he's over that after tonight's game. But 41% from the three-point line and 56% from the field. Bobby Webster started off this season saying that RJ Barrett's focus this year needs to be on efficiency. The ball's going in the hands of a ton of different people. He needs to be efficient. Well, he's been that this season, and tonight he was that again. 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and that's Brandon Ingram's stats. 27 points for RJ Barrett, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 10 of 19 shooting from the field. You can't ask for much better than that, and it wasn't even an elite shooting night for RJ. The 3-point shots were going in and out, a lot of those shots. RJ Barrett has been, again, he's not going to be an all-star likely, but all-star level complimentary player, if that is what it is. Whatever you want to name that, because he is just gelling, he's molding, he's getting timely shots, he's not forcing anything. RJ has been fantastic. Brandon Ingram didn't touch the ball for the first quarter and a half of this game, and still didn't touch it as a stretch, but didn't shoot many shots. I don't think he had a field goal in the first quarter. Brandon Ingram had 26, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in this game, 10 of 15 from the field, and just, again, he's impressed me a ton defensively. And this is the type of game that you want. You want RJ Barrett, because we know he's a bucket getter, to be able to still be able to score and get his game going. Brandon Ingram's our best scorer. You want him to be elite and get that stuff rocking. Scottie Barnes, in theory, should be our best player. All around, playing defense, facilitating, slashing, doing all that stuff, the focal point of the offense. Not the focal point of the scoring, that's Brandon Ingram, but the focal point of the offense. Scottie Barnes is a game like this, where, again, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, still 19 shots, but be able to do everything out there on the court, that is what you need. 5 blocks for Scottie Barnes in this game. This tandem that they have, that everyone had questions about, is working. It is working. Offensively, during the games that we've gotten smoked in, that part of this team has been working. And every single game, Colin Murray-Boyles is adding himself into the mix for that as well. Because tonight, you look at his stats, right? 15 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, playing out of position, 3 steals in this game, 7 of 14 from the field, Didn't make any threes. Shot a few threes. I like that he's shooting them. He's been confident out there from the 3-point line. I like it. I don't mind him shooting 3 a night. He's not forcing them. This man's feel for the game, his decision-making, again, there's some things of being a rookie. He's playing a little bit too fast, gets a little excited. That is what it is. Colin Murray-Boyles, as a passer, I know we've thrown, in the past, I've called Jonathan Mobo a good passer. I've called, at times, you know what I mean, guys are solid feels for the game and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, Jonathan Mobo has a good basketball IQ. This is legit. The passes that CMB, Colin Murray-Boyles, is finding right now out there in the lane, Jonathan Mobo, you could see has a good vision, but doesn't always execute. The ball just kind of doesn't, the pass is high, it's a turnover. Sometimes it's a nice pass, whatever, but it's a solid passer. Colin Murray-Boyles is out there around the 3-point line and lasering it straight exactly where it needs to be through traffic. And, there's assists, where you pass it to them and they score. And then there's assists where you are throwing a pass that gives them an automatic bucket. Those are the types of passes that Colin Murray-Boyles is throwing, and this man is just a rookie. Phenomenal stuff for CMB so far out there in his NBA career. The exception is his first game. The first game was a bit rough, but he is getting better and better every single night. This is working. This part of the team, this part of the game. Will this work when we face off against Giannis in a couple days? Probably not. This is the first game the Toronto Raptors end up out-rebounding their team, or one of the Raptors are smoking teams, so they're out-rebounding them. We're not going to be able to run CMB at center when you have all those bigs and Miles Turner and Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's just not going to work. We don't have the size to match up. So Darko Rajaković, and that's one thing I do want to give credit to as well, because everyone talks about fit, ball in the hands and stuff. Darko's running a lot of offensive schemes that are working really, really well. The 2-man actions between Brandon Ingram and Colin Murray-Boyles have been phenomenal. A lot of these, he loves starting on offenses, these, Iverson cuts, the UCLA offenses and stuff like that, where you're getting screens high, you're getting people in a position where there's movement, there's stuff happening. Give credit to Darko Rajaković, because people are calling for his head when we're losing games defensively and stuff, and I personally am saying it. It's not his fault. Our centers are half the height of the other team. It's not Darko's fault. So, encouraging stuff. You beat the Memphis Grizzlies here tonight, who had Jaren Jackson Jr., 20 points, good game for Jaren and stuff. And, staying on this game, a couple things, because there's a couple things that came from this game that really, things that are clear Bobby Webster needs to fix, because these parts are working, we'll win if it's working. And Jamal Shead was off the bench. I'll get straight into it. Immanuel Quickley. So, the issues with this group, the point guard spot and the center spot. I'll talk about the center one first, because I'm a believer in Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl, if he recovers from this back injury, if Jakob Poeltl's looking like he did the first couple of games of the season, we are cooked. Jakob Poeltl is just going to be horrible, it's going to be bad, and we should be very, very worried. And Bobby Webster's not going to be traded, because he's that bad. If we get Jakob Poeltl we saw from last season, that's kind of exactly what we need. I've been standing on the fact we need more centers. We need one more 7-footer that can protect the rim. And you throw out there as a defensive body against the Giannis of the world, the Şengüns of the world, the Wembanyama's of the world, just so you're not cooked rebounding the basketball. Standing on that, but I think with a healthy Jakob Poeltl, this team is good. And with CMB, with Scottie Barnes' rebounding ability, you might be fine. But you need one more legit true center for a lot of matchups. But I'm a believer in Big Yak. The point guard position, there's chats about it on the stream tonight. This guy, Jamal Shead, I'm a Shead head. I'm biased. I know the road I'm going down. It's not there yet. But at what point do we have that conversation of starting Jamal Shead? Because in theory, it doesn't make sense. Immanuel Quickley's the better shooter, and he's getting paid the bigger contract, so that's one thing to bring up. But he is just such a floor general. He knows how to hit people. He passes the right place, and the jump shot actually looks good this season. Jamal Shead, 9 points, 5 assists tonight. 3 of 4 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 2 timely threes. Only 16 minutes of action. Had 2 personal fouls early, so he got pulled early in the first quarter, but 16 minutes for Jamal Shead is criminal with the performance that he put on. When do we have this conversation? Because, folks, I'm a believer that this team, again, if we don't fix the center position and the point guard position, we're cooked. We're going to lose. We're not going to be good. All the, hype, top 2, not 2, top 6, all that stuff. It's not going to work if we don't have a point guard and center. I think Jakob Poeltl being healthy solves the center position. That's a big if. That's why you need insurance at the center spot. So that's one thing Bobby Webster has to fix. IQ is really good as an off-the-bench point guard with the New York Knicks. Now, it might kill you to look at IQ with $30 million per year in a league where the salary cap is, gotten more, the cap goes up, but the restrictions if you're in the tax and stuff is bad. I don't know if he's there yet, but he might be. And we're all talking about trades. We're all talking about this. We're talking about that. I want this team to win. And there's a world where with a healthy Jakob Poeltl, and of course, like Immanuel Quickley playing defense and knocking down threes. Tonight, IQ, this one, 9 points, 2 of 5 from the field. Knocked down 2 of 4 threes and stuff, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. The defense from Shead just looks so good. There's a world where these two guys solve our problems, and we are that team we were hoping to see this season. I don't know. I might be crazy. Let me know in the comment section if I am. I know you will. Anyways, I appreciate you. If you made it this far, you're 12 minutes into this post-game reaction against the Memphis Grizzlies that were depleted. It would mean the world to me if you guys hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.